Ah!
Oh, wrong one.
What the hell was that? You had one job, man! One job! Oh my god. Welcome! I actually thought your doorbell rang. Your actual doorbell. Welcome, we're live again! Thank you for coming back to the Crafty Boys. We've been off for a couple of weeks because of stupidity and technical glitches and this idiot here. But we're back, and this is episode number 54. And we're talking about a really cool beer, but first of all, before we dive into that, who the hell are all these people?
I'm Alan. I'm in Victoria. I'm a beer lover, and I like doing this podcast thing. What? What is so funny?
That was just the way you said it. It's like, I'm a beer lover.
Well, it's not like that. Like, I drink it. I don't do other things. I don't take a bath with it.
Oh, there's a mouse in it.
So Alan's
Dave,
a guy
who
that
are
we
you,
found
man?
on the street the other day.
What did you do on the street?
I said Alan's the guy we found on the street the other day.
Yes,
He
true.
said,
Yeah.
hey, you want to
Welcome
do this
to the
podcast
show.
thing?
We'll talk real slow so you understand. Dave, who are you?
Who am I? You said who I am.
Well, I know, but I'm giving you the chance to introduce yourself because that's only, the way that's not rude.
Oh, we're trying to be weird.
Alan's like, yep, this show's going so well. Well, in your face, Dave. Locke, how's it going, man?
Hi, everybody. My name's Locke, and I'm here to talk about the beer.
Right on. That is the best answer ever. The beer we're talking about, I don't know who the hell chose this beer. Who did?
I did.
Alan did. All right, good. Alan, tell us why you chose this beer.
Well, I'll tell you.
Ding dong.
Fun with computers. Why did I choose it? Because it was one that we could all find.
I'm holding up my beer.
And that's pretty much
So you're
it.
saying, Alan, you're saying this is a desperation beer.
No, we've kind of had a bit of a bad run recently where we've selected beers and not everybody in our group can find them. So Parallel 49 seems to kind of
Good luck.
be very good about getting their product everywhere. So we could all find it. Now, I've been eyeing this beer for a while, and I've been wanting to try it for myself anyways. So I figured, hey, let's pick it for this week, and we'll try it. Now, this is in their Rarities collection. It's a Vow of Silence Belgian Strong from Parallel 49 in Vancouver. It's an extra strong beer. It is 9.8%, and according to their website, it has a 25 IBU, and it should be served between 8 and 10 degrees. Now, mine's a bit colder than that. It's a Belgian-style dark, strong ale that showcases notes of stone fruits and raisins. Dark amber in color with a higher carbonation to keep the beer from feeling too heavy. And they spelled "too" wrong on their website. But they spelled it
So
T-O.
take that, Parallel 49.
Instead of T-O-O. Hey, Parallel 49, it looks like you need a communications person. And that's about it. So I'm eager to try this. Have any of you guys had this before?
Yeah.
Lockhart's drinking it now.
Locke's had 7 by now. That's my favorite part about
But
Locke
you know,
coming
I mean, that's
into
okay
the
for
show.
Locke.
It's like,
Locke
this
is-
is my 9th beer today.
Locke is like 9 feet tall, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Person. So.
True.
yeah. So why don't we do our pour?
Whoops.
It's now the pour.
This is what
segment.
mine looks
Oh
like.
no. This is how we should do it. This is how we should do it. Okay, just a second.
Special effects.
Oh, you know what that sound means? It's time to do the pour.
Wow! I'm ready to do my pour.
Let's do the pour.
I'm
doing
pouring
mine
more into
like
the glass
this.
I probably poured into, but that's okay, because this is beer. Mine looks like a rosy kiss on the cheek by a girl at the age of 14. Not that I'd want one now, but I'm just saying that when I was 14, I did.
Right. It reminds you. Of
Reminds
when you were
me of that time. Let me clarify before I am beaten
That was a
back
really
in
good
those
save.
of my life.
14-year-old, boozing it up days.
So it's a nice copper color.
Suddenly, a certain AC/DC song comes to mind. So anyway, Squealer. Anyway,
I like it.
I'm
Yeah.
liking it. I definitely, it's like drinking raisins. I have to agree with the raisin tinge to it.
Wow.
I'm impressed.
It's almost
a
like
yummy
drinking
rating.
mincemeat.
Actually,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
I could get behind that.
Was this a seasonal drink?
Yes, this is in their rarities collection. Having said that, I've actually seen it on the shelf for quite a while now. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be out there too much longer. But it doesn't seem to be in short supply in the stores that I've looked at. So
No.
I'm wondering
knows?
if part of that is the labeling, which is a little bit unfortunate.
why?
Explain yourself.
Explain.
It's kind of a putrid
What is wrong with that?
Yeah,
It's
it's kind of
Friar
a
Tuck.
putrid for starting. People don't like putrid green when it comes to food.
But this isn't food.
And
This is beer.
frickin' lips are sewn shut.
So, Friar Tuck is. I mean, that guy talked too much.
It's called Vow of Silence for a reason, Dave. Take the hint.
Yeah,
Um,
jerk.
Wow, going to hell for that one. So, I don't know, I'm liking this one. I mean, I've had this sitting in the fridge for like, what, a week and a half? Something like that. Or actually, what? No, longer than that. God, like I got it the week before. And I'm happily enjoying it because I haven't really had a lot of beer lately. The only beer that I've had really most often is every day in my fridge from the growler across the street. I was trying to tell a joke and it failed miserably, so I flamed out halfway through.
Wow.
It was funny in my head, not so much.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a TIE fighter crashing into the Death Star. By the way, speaking of Death Stars, trailer for Rogue One hit just late last week. What do you guys think?
Color me intrigued.
It was good.
Was there another Death Star in this thing?
A what?
Did I see
Well,
another
it's
Death
not-
Star in the trailer?
It's not another Death
It's
Star.
the Death
the
Star.
First.
The original Death Star.
Sorry. Which Death Star is it?
It's the one
first
from
one.
Episode 4, the first one.
The first
So-
Death Star.
So you know,
All right.
so you
Okay,
know
all right. I didn't know that.
the information that they used, the plans that were in R2-D2,
Mhm.
they were stolen from the Empire, and the Empire, the whole movie was the Empire trying to get them back.
This is the story
the
of
process
the
of
theft.
stealing the plans.
Is this like from the novelizations that came out? Like,
No.
No, this is a new one.
okay.
They're doing 3 of these movies. They're doing this particular story, which I'm kind of happy about. They're doing a Han Solo one when he was younger, which I'm kind of happy about because I want to see the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Assuming they're
And-
going to do that.
They have no reason not to at the moment. But the other one is apparently a Boba Fett one, which they're thinking about adding if they haven't added it to their roster already. So who knows? We might see. I mean, that to me makes sense because if they're doing a younger Han Solo when he meets Chewbacca or whatever, having a younger sort of Boba Fett as he maybe starts his search for Han Solo, maybe, I don't know, who knows. Granted, we've kind of had a lot of Boba Fett since episode 2, so.
But people love Boba Fett.
I
don't
know, that's
understand
true. I'm
why.
not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just thinking that maybe
No,
they might
but,
not
but
do it.
okay, let's back up for just a moment here. Wasn't part of the reason that people loved Boba Fett because he was a man of mystery? To
That is
take
true.
away the mystery, will they love him as much?
Probably not.
We won't, but fans who love him,
Mm.
I think, will.
Yeah, I mean it kind of depends. I mean there's something to be said for diving into that. I mean, previous to the sale of Lucasfilm, I don't know why they did put this out in a press release sometime last year, maybe end of 2014, not long after the sale, where they were basically disavowing the extended universe, which had been building since the 70s. Where you had a lot of stories about, like, I have a bunch of them, like a bunch of novels about different science fiction writers, some with big names, some with not so big names, not at the time anyway, maybe not such a big writer, but they had like tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina, tales from Jabba's palace. So they had like stories about the guy that took care of the Rancor, and that entire story about how he got the Rancor and how he took care of it, and basically it was this love story, which was kind of a neat little story. But which of course we already know what happens at the end with the Rancor in the third.
No, what?
I don't know. Maybe you should watch the first 3 episodes of. Anyway, so, but yeah, they put out this press release saying that anything that had been written in novel form was now non-existent, which is weird, because I don't think there was ever a story written about the theft of the Death Star plans, that I'm aware of anyway. But who knows? I mean, I'm excited for it because. Or excited for any of these films because I think that there has been they've tested their mettle. They've actually gone through and made a television show called The Clone Wars, and now they have a show called Rebels, which I haven't seen yet.
You should.
And the storytelling is quite good. I mean, it's not terrible, right? So I don't know. Maybe
Well, and is Rebels better than Clone Wars?
I've heard that it is better than Clone Wars. I mean, it's very different, but
I'm not willing to say that it's better than Clone
no,
Wars.
I haven't seen it, so I can't really say for myself. Alan, have you seen it?
I've seen them both. Rebels, to date, I would say is not better than the Clone Wars, but it has the potential to be better if they keep going along the storylines as they are. They just had their season finale, and I don't want to give anything away, but imagine if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, I assume you guys are. It ended with Ahsoka.
I'm not at the end.
You're not at the end?
I actually have heard this already. Keep going.
Okay, yeah. It ended with Ahsoka facing off against Darth Vader and realizing who Darth Vader was.
Yeah, which would be painful because isn't Ahsoka the one that bites it in Episode 3?
No.
Oh, is that a different Twi'lek?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I gather Ahsoka shows up in Rebels at some point, and she's an adult at that point. So, yeah, no, I'm in like season 3 or 4, I think, and I think there's 6.
Yeah, 6.
So yeah, I've actually gone back to the previous season because I watched a whole bunch of them and then I didn't watch it for like 6 months or so. So I've actually gone back because I'd forgotten what the hell was going on. So, but again,
it actually gets better in the 4th, 5th, and 6th season.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Yeah, so I just have to kind of power through it because I'm about halfway. But what else has been going on?
Well, just a second. While we're talking about Star Wars, let's talk about what's behind you.
Right over here.
That lame character.
The character that was not used properly in the entire film? Yes. The character that basically got just brutalized. Like, this powerful... This leader of all these Imperial troops, the trainer, the one who keeps them all in line, gets thrown in a trash compactor.
And yet, it's going to be in the next movie. How do you get off the Starkiller base?
Oh, yeah, 'cause she was in the trash.
She was in the trash, and it got blown up. How did she make it out?
Well, let me see what the other calendar
Well,
has this
Buddy,
one.
it's protocol that before you get blown up, you eject all your trash, right?
I suppose. No, that's before you jump to warp.
Surely, if they were getting blown up, they were preparing to do that.
Well, maybe they were. And don't call me Shirley.
So the other calendar I have here is a. They're not photographs. They are very nice sketches of different characters and things. This week, or this month, Chewbacca. So that'll make us feel all better for the rest of this episode.
Okay.
Because, Chewbacca in the extended universe does die, saving children, I think. He was rescuing something.
Is it on Love Day?
No, Life Day. Don't forget.
Oh, is it Life Day?
Everyone loves Life Day. Anyway, I know he actually dies. The guy that wrote the book had to. I think it was children. I seem to recall it was children. Anyway, had to meet George Lucas like 4 or 5 times as he was writing the book to sort of get the okay and the thumbs up. But who knows? If that'll ever be considered canon. Dave?
Really?
I couldn't think of anything else. I ran out with Star Wars. What else has been going on this week? For the past couple of weeks. Locke has returned from banishment.
Anybody like Caravaggio? You know about the new Caravaggio?
No. Elaborate.
You do this in Holofernes?
I haven't. I don't know.
Somebody found it 2 years ago in some French farmhouse attic. And there's been an argument over whether it's after Caravaggio, that is to say, potentially a student of Caravaggio, more likely a collector who made copies of Caravaggio, or if this is an actual authentic Caravaggio. The strongest opinion against has suggested that the geometry of the forms is wrong, and therefore it's not Caravaggio. I would point out that Caravaggio's human anatomy is garbage. The man had no clue about human anatomy, and if anything, it confirms that it might be a Caravaggio. Where I disagree, I don't believe that Caravaggio would have created characters that look as stilted as that. What Caravaggio did do, if he couldn't get the geometry right, he did always capture the dramatic moment, and I don't know if I see that in this to the extent that I would expect for a real Caravaggio. Anyway.
Dave, I know that you are like following this story pretty closely.
Oh yeah, super tight.
If it is Caravaggio, then it's worth $1.75 million.
It'll be worth quite a bit. I mean, considering his work sort of, well, actually, his work didn't, but he kind of did. Like, as soon as he was dead, people were like, who? What? Michelangelo what? I don't know. What? No, I don't understand who you're talking about. Because it wasn't until a while later that he was sort of rediscovered. It's amazing that any of his stuff has survived anyway.
Well, he was pretty, like, he was the first temper tantrum throwing, like, enfant terrible of the art world. Like, you know, one of the worst scandals was I think the one. There's an actual court case involving him attacking somebody with an axe. Apparently, he attacked the person by hitting them in the back with an axe. The famous defense was this: if he hit you from behind, how did you know it was him?
This is a good point. I mean, back then, especially, it's not like they could be like, it's not like the authorities showed up and said, "Bring in CSI. We gotta figure what's on here."
Yeah. like, the bottom line is, was it within character? Absolutely. We're talking about a guy who burnt down somebody's inn over artichokes.
Well, I mean, the thing is, his name has been used in literature so many times as characters that are that tend to be off or not quite evil, but they definitely root for a different team. And I always think it's really funny that every time I see a character that's named Caravaggio, I'm just like, yeah, I know why. Which is neat because then, of course, you can have people rediscover a lot of crazy characters in history. I mean, come on. So yeah, I mean, I hope it is real because, as you said, if it looks, has the flaws that people always identify with famous paintings, then maybe it is. That'd be kind of cool to find that in Attic because we lost a lot of artwork, during World War II and things like that. Which is actually, come to think of it, there's another. Wasn't there another painting that was discovered in somebody's attic somewhere? That was supposedly the family's trying to reclaim it or whatever. I think didn't you mention that last week?
Paintings get discovered in attics from time to time.
Well, the one I'm thinking of was the one where they're thinking it was taken by the Nazis from a Jewish family, and the family wants it back now.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that was
Caravaggio. I've forgotten who it was, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure that in that instance we're talking about. I think that was a Klimt. I think it was a Gustav Klimt, and it was the woman's family it was a portrait of the woman from the particular family. The family wants it back.
Right.
But I think the Austrian art museum or whatever are currently holding it, and they're sad to see it leave the public sphere. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, because it's like I think the insurance company has it or something from the people, the corporation or whoever owns it right now. Anyway,
yeah, I mean,
but there you go, paintings in the news. I kind of like this stuff. It doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah.
But Alan, the reason I'm segueing is that you actually threw in a chat link to an article that you and I might have.
Well, you had mentioned it at our last show, whenever that was.
Yeah. So basically, the podcast that we do, gentlemen, is going to kill us entirely, and we should just die now.
See, I disagree with that. I disagree.
Okay, keep going.
All right. So there was a study released recently that says that moderate alcohol drinking actually does not make you live longer, despite other studies in past years that have said yes, it does. So, like drinking a glass of red wine a day does not necessarily help you. It's the benefits don't.
Were any of you at any point confused about whether you were drinking alcohol for medical or recreational purposes?
I only drink it for
recreational purposes. I never thought of it as something that I was doing for medical benefit. If you see what I'm saying.
Neither have I. I mean, I think there's only been one time in my life where I was. So here's the thing. I didn't actually drink, but I thought about it, going, "Oh, my nerves are frayed. I'm too stressed about this. I should have a drink to calm myself down." But I never really sort of went beyond that, right?
No, but I think the key is they say moderate alcohol consumption. I think the public's idea of what moderate is a little bit skewed from the official definition of moderate.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, the beer that I have on this show every week is sometimes the only beer I have that week. And in other cases, maybe I'll have a couple others during the week. I consider myself to be a moderate alcohol consumer. But according to this study, I'm a lightweight, not a moderate at all. A moderate is somebody who drinks 1 to 2 drinks, or pardon me, 3 to 4 drinks every day, 365 days a year. I certainly don't do that.
No, that That's called alcoholism.
Yeah, that's
I'm
not a
starting-
moderate. That's not a moderate
This is
drinker.
I think I might need to step up a little. I never, it never occurred to me that I should be drinking more.
Well, here's the thing. Like, and the other thing too is that I'm not sure. I mean, I'd have to read this article in more detail, but the other thing too is that I'm curious as to whether they took into account somebody of my height and weight versus somebody of Locke's height and weight, because there are times where I've gone out with Locke, and he'll have like 2 or 3 beers, and I'll have 2 or 3 beers, but then at that point
There's a huge difference in your body size. It's like
oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a whole bunch
Shane's
of
like
different
3
things going on.
foot 6 inches
Blood
tall.
volume. If blood alcohol is how you measure inebriation, then obviously there's.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, Locke could have like 10 beer, and I might have 5, and we might feel roughly the same. But there have been times where I've gone out with. I mean, I'm picking on Locke because he's here, but there are times where I've gone out with many other people who are much bigger than me, and it's like, complete and utter decimation to my body, where they're like, oh, come on, I'll have one more, and I'm like, if I have one more, I'm going to just, you may as well just stick it through my butt, because it's not going to do any good, because I'll be dead tomorrow.
But according to the study, a high volume drinker is someone who drinks more than 6 drinks a day. I mean,
so that is definitely.
I mean, there's no way I could do that. Even a little bit. I mean, even 2 drinks a day every day would kill me. I mean, to me, that's a heavy drinker, and to this study, that's a moderate drinker.
6 drinks a day. That's me hanging out with Allie.
I don't know. I think these studies are a little bit flawed in if they consider a moderate alcohol consumption to be multiple drinks per day. It's not me, and I don't think it's you guys. And I don't think
I don't have that many people in my life that I would consider to be alcoholics. I mean, there's some that I know have had issues, but those are the people that I've every time I meet them, they're not drinking. They're already far gone in their level of intoxication, right? So, but luckily for me, in my experience, there's only been a few of those people that I know that I see on a somewhat regular basis. But anyone that I see, like you guys, I mean, some of you I only talk to virtually most of the time. But, Dave, are you hammered right now? What's my name? Could you please touch your nose?
I am actually feeling this, but
I'm feeling this as well.
Say, physically, I am the smallest of all 4 of us.
True.
So
What?
any drink is
Really?
going to hit me faster.
That's why you don't like IPAs.
Yeah. Well, Dave is
You know what?
surprisingly just a little bit shorter than I am, which is kind of weird because there's so
Are
many
you
people
kidding
that-
me?
I know, it's weird, huh? It's
Yeah,
messed
same,
up.
actually. Not by much though.
I've
But
seen
it's-
you guys like together, and I would never would have
We
guessed
look
that Dave was
about
shorter.
height, right? Yeah, we're pretty close. Like I think it's only an inch or 2 difference, right?
What we need to do is get you guys some like orange makeup, and we'll start calling you Oompa Loompa.
As soon as you said orange makeup, I'm like, yeah, I know exactly where this is going.
Okay, go.
I can't think. Hey, Baldy! I'll take a steak, medium rare.
Gandhi too.
It's really funny because I just watched that like a week or so ago.
So did I
It
actually.
stands up. That film is by far one of the best films out there.
I know.
That's-
For those who
Sorry.
don't know, we're talking about the Weird Al Yankovic movie UHF.
Gandhi!
Ah.
No
From, like,
more
1980
Mr. Passive
or
Resistance.
And-
It's like Gandhi is an action film.
Really? Real Reykjavik is all right.
Spatula City, where we sell spatulas at retail
And-
cost.
Hey, SCTV did that first.
What?
Did it really? Oh, Weird Al, what's going on, man? God.
Did SCTV do Spatula City?
Yep.
Are you sure?
I'm
I'm pretty up on my SCTV, and I don't remember them doing Spatula.
We have
They
the power of
totally
Google
did.
in our hands.
Okay. It wasn't Spatula City, but it was something very close to that.
Yeah.
Spatula City, we do spatulas, and that's all.
You know, but there's something to be said for that. Like, I did a stand-up routine. I wrote it, I performed it, and a guy I knew took me aside and said, "So, that's a Jerry Seinfeld routine, right?" And I'm like, "No, I wrote this." And he actually showed me, like, he had, like, written out Jerry Seinfeld routines. And he actually showed me,
Wow.
and it wasn't word for word, but it was the same gist that I had written, and Jerry Seinfeld had already written the same sequence. So I had
What was it
rewritten,
about?
and it wasn't plagiarism at all. Like, I'd never heard Jerry
What was it
Seinfeld.
about?
Oh, I don't even remember now. I abandoned it right then and there, and that was probably about 15 years ago. And I haven't performed stand-up in a long time. But yeah, it was a bit that Jerry Seinfeld did. He didn't do it very often, but it was part of his old shtick. And I had made the same observations. I had written a very similar sounding bit and performed it, and realized that somebody else had beaten me to it. So that kind of thing in comedy happens.
It's everywhere. Really.
Yeah.
I did a
Okay.
stand-up course a little while ago.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. But I didn't do my show because I got sick. Like, I got sick like the day before, and there was just, by day 2 of an illness, there was just no way I could have done it. I think I'll probably do it again, because it actually was
You should.
fucking hard.
It is hard. You know what? I mean, for people out there that don't know, I mean, Shane and I used to do improv comedy. And improv comedy...
Used to do. I just had a show last week.
Okay, yeah. Well, I haven't done it in a long time. I would love to do it again, by the way.
Improv?
But doing stand-up was like a whole other animal. You don't have anybody on stage with you to bail you out if things aren't going right. You have to do that yourself. You have to win over your audience within 30 seconds, or else you've lost them, and you'll never get them back. It's hard. Really hard.
I can see
The more you know.
A star shoots across the screen.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest and say that I've never suspected myself of having any talent for stand-up comedy. When I get up and stand on a stage and talk to an audience, I'm usually guilty of just talking about whatever the fuck I want to talk about at that point in time, and I will talk about it regardless of whether they're laughing or whatever they're doing. I sort of don't care. And when I do get a laugh, it often makes me wonder, should I milk it? Should I keep going down that road? Should I tell another gag, or should I bust them down and get back to the thing that I'm talking about?
I think that the success, success as in, I took, oh, sorry.
Danger of trying to play off of people who are laughing and try to add a gag to that is it's not
kind of like
funny.
a Don Rickles kind of thing.
Laugh. It's not. What I mean is, it's not funny to be trying to get somebody to laugh. It's funny It's extremely funny to be not trying to get them to laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
Is, I guess, my observation.
Well, the thing, it's kind of, you kind of described in my mind what Don Rickles does, where it was last year that I finally saw Don Rickles perform, and
Isn't he
the
dead?
whole performance. What?
Isn't he dead?
No, he's 93, I think. 93,
Oh,
give or take.
okay.
But anyway, so he actually did this thing where, or apparently this is what he's been done his entire career for his stand-up performances, where essentially he will, he has this catchphrase like, "I'll tell you," or I gotta tell you," or something like that. So I mean, I've forgotten that exact phrase, but that's roughly what it is. But essentially, what he does is he goes out on stage, he tells a few things, or he has a few little jokes that he has with his partner, like his band performer, who's been with him for like a bazillion years too. And they do a little bit of a gag, and then he'll walk out in the audience and basically make fun of people in a sort of lighthearted way. And the rest of the show is pretty much that. He'll go back to the stage, he'll talk about the things of the people that he's talked to in the audience, then he'll go back into the audience and get more material and come back. And it's basically like just comedy improv because he's been doing it for 500 years. He's really good at it, but that's basically what it seems to me anyway. So I looked actually at some of his performances that were recorded back in like the 60s and 70s on the Strip, and he does exactly the same thing. He goes out, has a bit of banter with the people on stage because he always has like a band and whatnot. Then he goes out into the audience, talks to some people, makes fun of them, goes back, talks a bit more, goes back out. You know, basically that's kind of his thing, and he is so good at it. And even back then with the stuff that you saw during the 60s and 70s, astounding. And the reason I kind of picked up on him recently is this whole thing. Now, I'm going to be quiet about this, but essentially, the political correctness movement in universities these days is sort of gone really out of control and kind of crazy, where free speech is being muffled. But essentially, yeah, he is sort of one of those old school guys that goes out there and he'll make commentary about racial stereotypes in his act, and it's fucking hilarious.
I would suggest that George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, they all fucking did that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a particular style, and you have to be a really good improv performer to pull it off too.
But you know what? I did some stand-up training with Mark Breslin, who owns the Yuck Yucks comedy clubs here in Canada. And he also discovered people like Stephen Wright and Sam Kinison and guys like that. And in his training with me, he told me that no stand-up ever does anything by improv. Everything is pre-written. They may have it sort of like memorized in the back of their head, and then they know when to call on it. Mm-hmm. So they have something.
There's definitely some of that there. Yeah, I would agree.
They have a routine for every single situation filed in their head. Yeah.
Which is to say that it's an improvisation, but it's an improvisation with rules. Like good jazz combos, like structured ones. They know what the moves are. If somebody's moving one way, people know how to respond. They've been there before. They understand. Oh, we didn't know in advance that it was going to be this now, but because it's this now, then I'm going to throw one of these in because that fits with one of those. And there's an internal logic to it.
Mm.
Yeah. You're still improvising. You're still variable. You can still change it up. It's just that you've got to know how all the parts work and what one thing will lead into and will not lead into others, right?
Well, exactly, because all that stuff sort of comes back to having that level of experience with doing that style of show. And I mean, people like Don Rickles, I mean, they've been doing this for so long. I mean, these guys were alive and doing comedy before my parents were born. So, I mean, that's just the level of experience. You can't match that. No one starting out, even if they've been doing it for a decade, could get that close. Because you're right, those routines, have been so ingrained in their brains for such a long time. They've already done the processing of, well, that kind of thing is a bit risque, it doesn't really work, I'm not going to do that again. But this stuff just kills, and I'm going to do that again and again and again. And they'll just naturally change it up. They won't even think about it. It'll be just instinct to go, okay, this guy is this, that, he's told me these 4 facts or whatever it is that they said, and boom, I'll just automatically change it on the fly, and it'll become something new. So I would love to have that kind of that experience, or that level of experience, but it'll be some time before I ever get there.
The training I had with Mark Breslin was really eye-opening. It was the stories that he told me about some of the things with some of the stand-ups he's worked with was incredible. And actually, it was kind of funny. At the time when I was training under him, he gets a call from his comedy club in Toronto and says, so we can get Dave Coulier, who plays one of the guys on what's that one with the twins on it? That show, Full House.
Full House. My first response is, why would I want Dave Coulier anyway?
Well, that was his question. That was his question. Do I want Dave Coulier? And I said, well, I said to him, well, does Bob Saget come with him? and his response is, if it was Bob Saget, I would sign him. I would have him perform, yes, like that, because he has even though he's got this squeaky clean image because of Full House and what he did on his funniest home videos, he's got a ton of blue material.
Oh, he is a dirty, dirty, dirty comedy act. It's one of those ones where it's like, remember he was on that show, and but if you actually took, I watched a great documentary which you guys have probably seen, I would hope, called The Aristocrats, which is the Aristocrats joke is basically a joke that all comics should learn, but because it's the same joke, the whole challenge is if you actually own it and make it your own kind of thing. And it's used in a variety of different ways, and I think probably the most famous way that it's been used to me is when I think it was during a roast or something. I've forgotten exactly what it was for, but it was not long after the tidal wave hit the nuclear reactor in Japan, and I think it was Gilbert Gottfried was on stage at a roast or at some sort of event, and he made a joke about that, and the audience turned on him, and they were like, boo, too soon. And he actually, instead of engaging with the audience and actually talking to them, he just launched into that joke. And I would recommend, I could tell you the joke, but I would do it very badly, so I would recommend checking out the documentary The Aristocrats, because it's Saget, a whole ton of other sort of famous comedians talking about what it is to be a comic, and they talk about specifically that joke, and they all perform it at the same time. And the way the documentary is done, they splice it together because there's a very specific progression of the joke. So you could actually have 10 comics telling the joke from beginning to end, and it would be the same joke in theory, even though some of the details might be different. So, and it's a very dirty joke too. It's like hardcore dirty. So,
another good documentary for aspiring stand-up comics, or just anybody really, is Jerry Seinfeld Comedian, which is a very good documentary. It kind of shows the behind-the-scenes look of a stand-up comic and the anxiety that they get. The only unfortunate part is it has quite a bit about Bill Cosby in it, which, after the fact,
You know what? There's nothing you can do about it. You go back and try to change history. Comedy superstar Bill Cosby.
I know. It's kind of
You
unfortunate.
can't do anything about it. It's not.
Well, the thing is, people are trying,
You know
right?
what?
The Cosby
Bill
Show
Cosby,
is
the
not
people-
shown in
The one
syndication,
that was on TV. The one that was fucking out raping chicks. That's not the Bill Cosby that people liked. If people want to like the Bill Cosby that they liked, I sort of, part of what it comes down to was how much of the Cosby Show was Bill Cosby and how much of the Cosby Show was, a whole lot of other people all pulling together to try to make a show.
There's a whole lot of other people, and
You're gonna punish all of them because of Bill Cosby?
and how about Fat Albert? Fat Albert. I mean, not that it was shown a lot, but I mean, it'll never be shown again.
No way you can make Fat Albert today. It's just everything about it is wrong. A fat black person. My God. Like
This
how
guy's
politically
fat.
incorrect is that fucking black guy's fat. Like I'm sure there's some reason why you could not do that today without getting into trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't think the writers were about that, and I don't think the show was about that. But man, you'd get into trouble if you did that today. It'd be as bad as being Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that people will hate me for saying this, but has he actually been convicted of a crime?
Don't
Yeah.
go there. Don't
Yeah,
go there.
I think he actually has. Unlike Gomeshi.
I mean, it's just fresh in my mind because of the whole Gomeshi thing, and granted, Gomeshi's a slime from what I can tell. I don't know the man, so I don't actually know. But I work and do a lot of stuff on the internet, and I'm very anti-mob
lie
mentality of
about
the internet.
rape are slime.
Well,
Listen.
I agree, but I'm just going to say, I'm going to be quiet
I
after
don't-
this.
If you're an actual rape victim, the kind of woman that comes along and lies about that shit in court, like knowing that she's lying about it, knowing the effect that that's going to have on every other case that's going to get tarred with the same brush, right? Aren't they the problem? Isn't that somebody that you should be really angry at?
Well, here's the thing: is that I don't want to be angry at people who report alleged crimes of this
But
type.
when they report them dishonestly, there's something
Well, okay, I
seriously
mean, okay.
amiss.
Granted, Gomeshi's the people that were making the claims in the Gomeshi case are somewhat suspect. I mean, whether or not the
No, you know what's suspect? No. You know what's suspect in the Gomeshi trial is the prosecution. The prosecution lawyers were not prepared.
okay, but no, wait. Before you even go any further on that, don't forget the prosecution is not in this case. It's not a lawyer. They went out to try and. Okay, they went to the Crown, and I support what the Crown said, and what the people have said is that it's not the Crown's job to do anything other than take at face value what the individuals say to them. It is, it is not their job to go out and research a case to do investigations and all that kind of stuff. They're there to represent the Queen in our best interest and all that kind of stuff. If they had wanted further investigation into the claims that they were making in order to prove without a shadow of a doubt that Gomeshi is the slime he's being portrayed as, then they should not have done what they did. They should have reported to the Crown and then also brought in other lawyers, which granted is an expensive thing, in order to defend their case, because I've seen the interviews with the individuals on the CBC after the Gomeshi case was done, and I'm sorry that I sympathize and I want to say that yes, Gomeshi is guilty, but I also want to believe in the system of law that we have. And to say that you went and talked to the Crown very briefly... Sorry?
But you see, Shane, you're not allowed to say that because you have a penis.
You don't know the guy.
No, this is true.
You don't know for sure what happened there.
Exactly, and this is the worst part.
The standard for that court is reasonable doubt. It's not.
Exactly, and that's the big point, is that people don't seem to understand that part of it.
And if you don't know, then you don't know. Because let me paint another picture for you. Suppose he's innocent. I don't know if he is, but what if he is? You really going to destroy somebody's life that way
and that's
on the
thing,
basis of somebody doing something dishonestly? Really? That seems.
This is the argument to be made, and I think after all is said and done, I think the most important piece of that entire experience, of that entire case, and all that kind of stuff, has pointed out that these types of cases should not be tried in the same way. They should be tried in a court of law, yes, but there should be a different way of victim and supposed perpetrator to actually have almost a mediation, almost some sort of a different way of trying these cases, and not in any way, shape, or form have any involvement with the public, because that is the part that, and this is the thing, I don't care if he's guilty, I don't care if he's innocent, I don't care if they were lying, I don't care if they were telling the truth. The ramifications of all of it is the important piece, and part of that is these should never be tried in a court of public opinion, because the problem is the public opinion, and this is because of my experience on the internet for the past 20 years of doing this industry, of working in this industry. There is nothing. There's nothing the internet can do to support or dissuade people from supporting anything, because as time has gone on, we have seen the mob mentality grow and grow and grow and grow. And the problem is, when mob mentality gets involved, reason and logic and thought and thinking, free thinking, goes out the window, because passions get involved. People that want to believe, people reporting crimes should be believed, and the only way you can do that is you have to say that whoever is the supposed perpetrator is automatically guilty. And the most telling piece of that is that in the newspaper locally here in Vancouver, somebody was interviewed on the street talking about this particular trial, and they actually used the phrase, "It is irrelevant whether or not he is guilty. There is nothing that can be said roughly about proven or innocent until proven guilty is irrelevant." And that, to me, is such an ignorant thing to say, that if individuals believe that, if they think in this particular case that it is irrelevant that the man in question, or the perpetrator in question, be it a man or a female, is under the microscope to be tried and either acquitted or convicted, everyone who says that should automatically be accused of a horrible crime and have to do exactly the same case. Because then they will be able to realize the reality, and it was like you were saying, Locke, the reality of what this means. That if somebody wants to say and point at anybody on the planet, that person did this horrible thing, I want you to put them in jail, and then to have the law come in and go, okay, well, we want to be sensitive to you, and we want to make sure that we're doing this right, but there are some realities that you have to go through.
But let me say this, and I've seen this a lot on the internet, with respect to the Ghomeshi case and with Bill Cosby, and I understand this is getting maybe a little bit more heavy than we would like for the show.
It's because of this 9.8% beer.
But I have a lot of friends who consider themselves to be feminists, both male and female. And they say that in cases such as with the Ghomeshi case and with the Bill Cosby case, that women do not lie. They don't. They should automatically be believed.
What an astonishing thing to say! Yeah, I know. I've met a lot of women.
The women should be just automatically believe that they're telling the truth, and that the men should just automatically believe that they're guilty.
Well, I would like those individuals, whoever they are, to be convicted or to be charged with a serious crime, and to have them say exactly the same thing after they're defending themselves. But here's the thing: the component that they also need is it needs to be dragged through the public eye as well.
Well, see, this is the thing, though. Why would women bring up these things if they're being dragged through the public eye?
Because people will do anything without thinking about the ramifications, and
I know that.
and this is the thing, right? So,
I understand that.
but again, we have penises, and we're going.
I
Exactly,
happen to know
they're evil,
personally
so.
that would very gladly get themselves involved in a public scandal.
I don't know if
they
you heard
thought
the
it would make
peanut
it
gallery.
Yeah, I heard.
Hey, peanut gallery, do you want to say that one more time? There we go. So, speaking of the peanut gallery, I've had this conversation many times ad nauseum about this particular case because a couple weeks ago when it all was coming out in the news again, I was thinking, well, okay, maybe he didn't do it, blah blah blah, and then I just started, you just start reading stuff online, and it just is insane. Where it's, anyway, it's sad. It's really sad that we believe automatically that if somebody is accused of a serious crime, that they should be just automatically guilty, as you're saying, Alan. So, but sorry, I interrupted Locke. I'm sorry, man.
No, I don't have anything in particular to say at this point. If you're trying to pass it over, keep.
On that note,
On that note,
I think we should leave this episode there because we've ended off with an incredibly heavy topic that really, ultimately, if you really think about it, there is no right or wrong answer. All we can do is support the institutions that we have to prosecute crimes and all that kind of fun stuff. And to everyone, just to sit back, breathe, and just think about what they think, and stick to your guns, either side, whatever.
Smoke them if you got them.
Smoke them if you got them. Drink the beer, which, by the way, is gone.
Namaste, motherfuckers.
Exactly. So, and
well, maybe we should go back to a summary for the beer. I picked the beer, Vow of Silence from Parallel 49. I really liked it. This is a great beer. I really recommend you get it.
Okay.
Quick
one for you.
Oh, sorry.
Vow of Silence. I want to relate this just quickly before we go. When I bought it at the store, it was sitting one shelf up from Loudmouth Soup by Arrowhead Brewery.
Nice.
Wait, what?
Loudmouth Soup by Arrowhead Brewery.
Is that the beer for next week?
It would be the beer for next week if you guys can get it. They're from Invermere, BC. They I've been to their operation.
What's it called?
Across the street from Kicking Horse Coffee. If you've ever had Kicking Horse Coffee,
it's amazing.
Yes.
Right across the street, Arrowhead Brewery. Loudmouth Soup. Let's see if we can do it for next week.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I'll see if I can find it here on the island.
Locke, when we're not doing stuff on this podcast, where can people find you?
Running around in the sewer dressed like a cat.
Rock and roll. Dave, when you're not here doing amazing things on this podcast, where can people find you?
Well, they probably can't. They can try on the Twitter's thingy, whatever. I happen to be the fool on there. Well, I'm the fool everywhere, but that's my handle, or whatever the kids say. It's
I think kids in the '60s said handle.
Oh my god. Alan, of
They don't
course.
say handle?
Where can people find you, sir?
Nobody's going to be looking for me. Let's face reality. Nobody's going to try to find me.
And of course, I'm Shane. You can find me here on the Crafty Boys as well as chainsworld.ca, where Crafty Boys is also
you can find
represented.
Shane everywhere.
And also, I will remind you, I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit. We are about a month and a half away from the release of my latest book, How to Blog and Vlog in 10 Easy Steps, which is a book for people from the ages of 8 to 12, and it's fully illustrated, which of course is a reference to Jurassic Park if you're really watching. So there you go.
Mr. D&D.
And of course, thank you again. We'll be back next week with hopefully Arrowhead Brewery's Loudmouth Soup. But you never know, we might have to pick something else because, as you have watched many episodes, you'll know that for some bloody reason, we have trouble getting the beers that we want from one island to the mainland. So who knows? Thank you again, and bye-bye for now!